Good news, everybody. Trials Evolution Gold has a release date. It's going to be coming March 22nd to PCs. I know you guys can't wait. I personally can't wait. I have a feeling there's going to be a little bit of a rivalry between the creators, the track creators on the Xbox Live versus the PC, because as you guys know, there's a pretty well-seasoned community of creators on the Xbox. So you PC guys really need to, step up your game a little bit if you want to compete. Now, this is kind of a hybrid Will of Donkey / vlog today, all right? So because that's just, you'll see why in a little bit. It wasn't necessarily up to my standard for Will of Donkey, but there's some good announcements to make today, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity to go and tell everybody, hey, Trials Evolution Gold's coming to PC. Start saving some money for maybe not just Trials Evolution Gold, but also maybe a controller. You can play with a keyboard and mouse. You could definitely play with a keyboard and mouse, and you'll have no problem doing that. As a matter of fact, my biggest thing with the controllers is that you have triggers that are pressure sensitive. It allows you to give just a little bit of gas if you need to, or just a little bit of brakes or whatever. And of course, you have the joysticks that allow you to lean just the right amount. Now, I'm going to assume I can neither confirm nor deny that they're going to allow you to use something like maybe the mouse in order to control leaning in if you're using the keyboard and mouse on the PC version. But I personally would suggest maybe picking up a controller if you can. Once again, I know people who use the buttons like the X and the A button for gas and brakes, and they do just fine. Like some of these guys are really good. And in my opinion, I feel like the hitting the buttons instead of using the triggers is an inferior concept. Like you shouldn't be able to be as good as somebody who can control the amount of throttle they're giving to the bike, but they seem to pull it off. So what this means, of course, is that you can probably use a mouse and keyboard and be just as good as some of these top players, easily just as good as some of these top players. Now, real quick, this track that you're watching right here is a medium track, running it on the Donkey. High contrast, black and white. It was kind of the theme that I was going for Will of Donkey, but, some things ended up happening that made it a little, not really worth it, an actual Will of Donkey show. It didn't mean that some things didn't piss me off today. It just means that it wasn't enough, anger and frustration to really come up with a good Will of Donkey episode. But this track was just a medium one. I love it. It's definitely kind of line rider style. It even predates Line Rider in terms of style is concerned. I would actually say this is like HyperCard or something. It makes Line Rider look next gen. But this one is pretty difficult. So this track is, I've been holding on to this for a while, and it's funny because I've had it for a while and then somebody suggested it and I was like, are you kidding me, Psychic Bro? No problem. Yes, I'll go ahead and I'll give it a shot. And I think I know why they chose it. I think they attempted to do it themselves, but they found an issue and they thought that it was impossible to do, so they tried to set me up. So I'll show you that. We'll get there in a minute. We're gonna go ahead and continue with other things though, basically talking about the future of Trials Evolution's content on this channel. I'm gonna keep doing Will of Donkey. I'm gonna keep doing TETs. Obviously, it's reliant on, well, especially Will of Donkey, on the quality of the tracks that I get in terms of difficulty and whatnot. It's hard. I don't just make a Will of Donkey episode because I just feel like making a Will of Donkey episode, right? So I go and I pretend to be angry and shit. I do a Will of Donkey episode because I have a track that's really fucking hard and I want to fucking like squeeze a bag of granola bar or something like that, and like you squeeze it, you feel it crush within your hand. You're like, ugh, and it's like crushing in your hand. You feel like you're crushing a Nintendo controller, right? That's what it feels like. That's when I know I have a good Will of Donkey episode. But in terms of content, I'm gonna keep Will of Donkey and TETs cross-platform. I'm gonna own the game on both the Xbox and the PC, so obviously I want to cover content from both if I can, mix it up a little bit. With Will of Donkey, it's usually one track, so it'll be like one track one week, one another. I'm not gonna alternate evenly. It's gonna be whenever I find a track that works. Again, especially with Will of Donkey, again, because it's subjective. It's not a fixed thing. TETs, however, there's gonna be so much content coming out of either side. I think the first couple episodes will focus on PC a little bit, to kind of give them a little bit of a spotlight, to show everybody where people are at the beginning of the game in terms of creators and everything. We're gonna have some really interesting, weird, and shitty tracks coming out of the PC, so I have to beat them up for it, because that's what TETs is for. It's called Tough Love. But before the game's release, I want to put out a handful of videos that's basically going to be like Trials Evolution basic training. I want to show you guys how to do some of the basic things and even some of the more advanced things in Trials. That way you can hit the ground running. You don't have to worry about necessarily jumping in there and trying different bikes to see what they do and all that. I'll explain all that in different series of videos. I think this will really help for those of you guys who are interested in the game. I know a lot of you guys really are. Every other video that I post on Trials, and every video that I post on Trials has people talking about, first it was, I wish it's come out for PC, and now it's, I can't wait for it to come out PC, and now it's gonna be, I can't wait for March. So I know there's gonna be a lot of you guys that are gonna be picking it up. So I figured I'd make a handful of, videos explaining basic things, like, some of you guys might not know how to FAP, and so maybe Mike B needs to show you how to FAP, in which case I will make a video to show you guys how to FAP. All right, so we've reached the part that this is why I think the reason why he sent this to me, because this kind of sucks. Now you see how that hook's moving? I have to find a way to get the donkey inside of that hook. I'm watching it right now. Is what I'm doing. It's my first run through this. I need to find a way to get the donkey to hook onto that. And as you can see, it's not easy at all. As a matter of fact, it's fucking impossible. There's no way you could get enough speed to bunny hop your way onto this thing. And you obviously don't have the wheel span in order to pull it off with a flip or even like doing a wheelie to hook up to it. But here's the thing, you touch it and it moves, right? So here I'm watching it go across. And so I started to think, okay, maybe if I just like bump it slightly like this, I could like find some way to jump onto the hook as it's moving across the thing. It sounds ridiculous, but it makes sense. I think right here, I just wanted to see what was on the other side. So let it move a little bit and then just jump onto it. Okay, here, this is a tour. We're getting a tour right now on the other side. There's the last platform, I think. Right, and there's like this weird face thing here. Okay, weird. Right, now, we're gonna give it a little bit of a nudge. You'll catch it, and then we're gonna jump onto it with my neck. Now, just touching it like right here, I knew that I could make this. 103 faults, 105 faults, right? I know that I can make this. 129 faults, 16 minutes in. Bump it, jump onto it, get that hook, perfect. Swing across the other side, land. Doesn't matter if you land terribly, because there's a checkpoint right here. See? I was upset that I actually figured it out that quickly. You know, 131 faults, 16 minutes. I was like, this wouldn't really make a good Will It Donkey track, damn. So I tried another one. This one was sent in recently from Soulman2K. And it fit with the theme, right? The whole high contrast black and white thing, except for it adds a very unique twist to everything that you touch. Everything is suspended, it's rope. It's a rope of some sort, and it's there, and you just have to find some way to make it all the way across. Now, I did test this out on the 250cc, and it was considerably easier. You can see right here at the top, you see the little marker there. That's numeral rope 68 on the 250cc. You see how easy it is to get up to the point that I'm at right now with very few faults. As a matter of fact, I think I only faulted once getting up here, right by here. Didn't quite make it, but that's the thing. It has the wider wheelbase, so it doesn't necessarily push down in a pocket, creating like a whip effect at the end of every single one of these ropes. This track is fucking hard. There's actually very few people that have zero faulted it. I want to say it's probably, at the time of recording this, there was probably less than maybe 3 or 4 people that have actually zero faulted this, if even that many. It was, all I know is that there are people with faults in the top like 3. So as you can see, it's getting this last part right here that was incredibly fucking difficult. I had to do it, if you notice the jump in faults, you can see in time, you can see it was pretty hard. But of course, I ended up making it all the way across, right? Okay, that was obviously, I was fucked from the beginning there. Okay, give it a little bit of a wheelie. I noticed that giving it just a little bit of a wheelie, it gives you a little bit of leverage at the end, because then you kind of push forward because you have your wheel up in the air some. And right here, this part was actually easier on the donkey because it was smaller. I was able to kind of squeeze in between these things, except for, you know, the one that smacks me in the face. And this track was actually going to be the only Will It Donkey track for today, because I ran it on the 250cc and I was like, oh wow, this track is actually very difficult. Obviously, it's going to be considerably more on the donkey. And then it turns out it's just, you know, difficult across the board, like I mentioned earlier. Nobody really has 0 faults. And then of course, this kind of bullshit happens. And this shit pisses me off because it's like, I feel like I can save this. I know I can't save this. Let's just do it over. So I'm 60% through the track. I have 130 faults. I'm approaching 20 minutes. I feel like I'm like, okay, this is definitely gonna be a Will It Donkey track because I'm gonna have to do the whole thing over again. If I'm only 60% the way through, there's no way I'm gonna make it all the way to the end before, you know, 30 minutes. But then, you know, it turns out that the rest of it ended up being a little bit easier than I expected. But as you can see right here, to the bitter end, I will not give up. To the bitter end! But that's it, guys. I mean, right here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off all the way to the end. Obviously a hard track. Couple of difficult tracks, nothing that was too impossible. But really, I didn't want to leave you guys empty-handed for this week. That's why I wanted to put out, obviously, the announcements, right? March 22nd, Trials Evolution Gold comes to PCs everywhere. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned, obviously, for more Trials Evolution videos, especially the basic training stuff. Remember, I'm here to show you how to FAP.